Once I get about this far up my loom, I like to start adding some other designs. So one of the designs I'm going to add is something called Rya Knots. For Rya Knots, we're going to use a thicker type of yarn. It's about twice as thick, maybe 3 times as thick as the other type of yarn. And then we have these small pieces. They're a little bit longer than finger length here. And all I do for this is I'm going to lay it over 2 strings, and then I'm going to push down around the sides and then loop it through the middle. So both of these sides of string should come up through the middle, and then I pull it down. I want to be careful that I don't make it too tight, because then it squishes these ones together. So I want to make sure they sort of stay about as far apart as they were before. And then I'm just going to do the same thing all the way across. So for my next 2 right here, I'm going to lay this across, push down around the 2 sides, and then loop it back through the middle right here. Once it's through the middle, then I can again pull it down towards the bottom. So I'm going to continue that all the way across. Let me just show one more. The next 2 strings are here. I'm going to lay this across, push down on the 2 sides here, and then take the ends of my rug yarn and loop it through the middle like that, and then again push all the way down. When I get to the end, you'll see that we have one warp thread that doesn't have any of the Rya knots on it. So for that reason, I like to go back across this way, and then I start with these 2 on the end so that I make sure it at least gets covered. And then I want to make sure that I have at least 2 layers of Rya knots. So I have my first layer here, and I'm going to start a second layer that goes across this way again. If I wanted to, I can do more than 2 layers also. We just at least want to have 2. When we're finished making a few of these rows of Rya knots, then we can start our regular weaving again. You can also take this time to sort of trim your Rya knots so that they're more even length. You don't want to cut them too close because then they could fall out. But if you just want to make them a little bit more even, then you can do that at the end since they aren't exact. Okay. And then right here I have my next piece of yarn, and I'm going to again thread my needle. So I'm making this small loop here. I'm going to stick it through the eye of my needle like that. Then the small little tail is going to go through that loop, and then I pull it tight. And then I'm just going to sort of pick up where I left off. So I'm just going to go over and under all the way across, making sure, actually I'll start under here, making sure not to pull all the way through because you have to leave that little tail hanging off in the end. So I'm going to pull this. Then once it gets closer to the end, I'm going to slow it down a little bit, like that. And then again, I start to really press it down. I don't want to leave too many gaps, so I'm going to make sure that I press it down all the way.